I've left like 15 messages. You're gonna think I'm crazy. But I'm waiting for you at the restaurant. I mean, you know how hard it was to get these reservations? Jack?
Don't hang up, please. I'll get more privacy to talk to you. It's going to be longer than I had hoped, my beautiful. The inquiry is a little complicated.
I mean, where are you? I don't understand what's going on. I've been calling you. I left. I drove. I had to take the car over, and I had to have the whole oil thing. And I got to tell you about that because this bill is just crazy. You won't believe how much he's trying to dig us for.
Listen, the fellow was killed by a bullet, and as a result, I've got almost 10 suspects on my hands. I'm doing my best and my quickest, my beautiful. Yes, I promise you, I'm thinking of you. Of course, I love you. What are you doing here, Colio? Are you waiting for Walter Jones's ghost to open the door?
Do not make fun of me, Jack Norm. Do you know how to enter?
Yes, Colio, I have what it takes. If I understand correctly, you want to come in with me? What do you want to do in this apartment?
Just like that, Jack Norm. I want to see the chambers of old Jones. I was told it is a beautiful place with a lot of riches, so I want to see it, that is all.
Who could have opened this safe?
Correct match.
Nolan certainly left his imprints on the safe. Sonia didn't lie on this point. A billionaire with an empty safe is not very normal. What could Jones have been hiding in his safe to the point of whetting appetites to this extent? You like the painting, it seems. I don't really like this piece. Each to his own tastes.
I am a fisherman, and I don't know paintings well, Jack Norm.
I didn't disturb you, Colio.
Huh? No, you are not disturbing me, Jack Norm.
I just have some questions to ask you. Do you know what was in Walter Jones's safe?
This is not my business, Jack Norm. The secrets of Walter Jones, no doubt.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to chat with you for a moment. Excuse me, I am distracted. I have what I need. See you later.
Stop trying to outsmart me, Lorenzo. I know perfectly well what's going on between you both. Sonia is my wife, and I want you to leave her alone. Understand?
I find you totally ridiculous, man. And Sonia is grown up enough to know what she wants.
Apparently, you don't understand me very well, Lorenzo. You are not in a position of power. In fact, far from it. I can have you fired from your job. You'll lose everything. Sonia and everything else.
You have too much imagination, and you are crossing the line, Martin. Get out of here or I'll throttle you.
Sorry to interrupt your genial conversation, sirs.
Oh, it's nothing, Inspector. We're having a talk.
I was just leaving.
With all these tables and chairs in the mezzanine, we ought to be fine. We'll make a raft. We'll get everyone on board. We'll take supplies and water, and we'll get out of here fast.
You're utterly raving, my poor fellow. With these waves and this storm, we can't even get past the coral reef. We will all end up drowning. So personally, I prefer waiting to be rescued.
Do what you want, Martin. I'll ask the others to help me. I thought you were braver than this, man.
Fine, Billy. No point in getting angry. I'll help you anyway. You were never capable of hammering a nail.
You can simper, my beautiful. I'm not buying into it. I know very well that you can speak. You're playing mute to soften up Lorenzo, but I'm not blind. I see that you're running after him. My poor girl. But Lorenzo only feels pity for you. Do you understand that? You hope that you could hoodwink the cop, but not me. I know very well that you're the murderer, because it wasn't enough for you to push an old man in a wheelchair into the void. You had to finish him off by pulling the trigger. And now you think you can mooch off Lorenzo. You have your head in the clouds, my poor girl. You'll end up in the ditch. That's what will happen. Bitch, you'll pay me back for that. What was in Walter Jones's safe? Is Nolant responsible for the theft? Sonia, with Nolant's help, stole Walter Jones and Baina's marriage articles.
Reeves, the attorney and 2 heirs stole the objects in the safe. They wanted to stop the marriage ceremony between the old billionaire and the young Baina at all costs, a ceremony that could have happened post-mortem. I do think that in the eyes of some people, Baina is the enemy to be destroyed.
Yeah. Estates stir up longings and spawn the worst baseness, my friend. But you do your job, Jack. Interrogate all these people thoroughly. I want that murderer, Jack.
It's nothing. This inquiry. I'm empty. Come on, it's time to go to the restaurant to question these good people.
I'm asking for your attention, please. I have some essential information to communicate to you. You all know that the archipelago was hit by a hurricane last night. Well, this hurricane damaged the structure of the tower. This morning, I noted many cracks in the lower floors, particularly in the suites you're occupying. The stones of the foundation and many walls were weakened. You know that a part of the electrical circuit is no longer working. It's therefore very urgent that we evacuate these suites. I would ask you to immediately pack your things and move to the Heliport lounges. I know we'll be less comfortable there, but at the very least, we'll be safe. And that's what is of the utmost importance. We will then be evacuated to the island of Saleh. As you might suspect, the authorities of the archipelago are overwhelmed. They're giving priority to the inhabitants of the islands that were the most devastated. There were some dead and many injured. Please don't give in to panic. Let us all remember that in this catastrophe, we were lucky. Very lucky.
Inspector Norm. Inspector,
What happened to you, Nolant?
I have some crucial revelations for you, Inspector. I know who the murderer is. I can't tell you like this right now. I have to confirm some details, you understand. So I'll tell you everything tomorrow morning, without fail.
Very well. So be it, Nolant. If you cannot tell me now, you'll tell me all this tomorrow morning. What a darn day. Let's hope tonight is less catastrophic than last night. Where might I be able to sleep? Oh, well, I think I've seen worse. Off to brush my teeth and then to bed.
Hi, Jack. It's Reeves. You okay?
You're asking me if I'm well? I was just woken up by a small earthquake or something of that sort. This tower is going to collapse if this continues. I am not liking this at all, Reeves. You have to evacuate us as soon as possible, or else it won't just be a murder that you have on your hands, but real bloodshed, and me included.
Calm down, Jack. Calm down. Is everyone alive?
I just woke up. I still haven't seen anyone. Things are okay here, but I think that there is terrible damage elsewhere in the building. Reeves, I'll take a look around and I'll call you, okay?
The storm has wreaked havoc in the entire archipelago, Norm. 11 dead on the island of Mahu, crushed by a shed that collapsed. I don't have a precise count yet of the injured. We had to evacuate from the other islands to the hospital in Salé, but there's a lot of them. And I'm not counting the 100 or so who are without shelter I have on my hands. The number of houses and huts that were destroyed is daunting. And we'll talk again soon, Jack. And all this mess, I forgot. How's your inquiry coming along?
Don't worry about it, Reeves. You know Nolant, Jones' attorney? He promised me a momentous revelation this morning. Nothing less than the very name of the murderer.
Oh, yeah, that's something. Jack, I have to tell you that we can't evacuate you right away. The helicopter's busy for the moment with emergency rescues. The 3 rescue speedboats are a long way from Sagara, places where people are most isolated. We're organizing our missions, keeping in mind the people who are in maximum danger, you understand. But I'll call you as soon as I can do something for you all.
It's a total disaster. We can't get to the raft anymore. Our only hope of salvation. The elevators are broken, the stairwells of the suites, the lobby have collapsed.
The raft was practically ready to sail toward calmer climes. What a mess. It is definitely no longer possible to leave the island by sea.
And you can count the rescue team out, man. Those jerks have discarded us like old socks. You see, the natives are a lot more important than us. As if it weren't urgent to get us out of this hole before we all finish at the bottom of the ocean.
Calm down. It's useless to panic. I just had Commissioner Reeves on the phone. He will send us the helicopter when he can. He doesn't consider our situation to be alarming if we compare our lot with that of the natives of the neighboring islands that disappeared last night along with their houses and their goods. They're working like crazy out there, and with very little means. We should all be patient.
I might have the means to get us out of this situation, if the rescuers are late.
That is to say what?
I hesitated to speak to you about it until right now. The solution presents a lot of risks, particularly in bad weather.
Come on, deliver, Lorenzo. This is getting irritating.
Well, there's a hot air balloon at the summit of the tower, and...
What? You kept this to yourself all this time? And to think that we spent hours constructing that damned raft.
Bastard! Who do you think you are to dispose of our lives like this?
But you don't realize it would be complete madness to take off on this contraption in weather like this. It'd be taking the risk of sending everyone to their death in the sea in less time than you could blink.
It's up to each one of us to decide if we want to climb into this balloon. It's certainly not for you to decide on behalf of everyone.
Well, after all, if you mean it, I'll verify that it's in a proper condition to fly, and then proceed to equip it for takeoff.
That's it. And you do well to hurry. And above all, don't count on flying alone. We are keeping an eye on you now, Lorenzo. A hot air balloon. Figure that, ladies and gentlemen. Lorenzo, the brilliant architect of this place, hid the hot air balloon from us. Yes, you heard right. A hot air balloon. A hot air balloon. A hot air balloon!
Is Martin crazy?
Stop your hysterics, Martin. It's not funny.
A hot air balloon? Well, one learns every day.
Well, what is this nutty story?
Lorenzo Battaglieri wanted to abandon us all and escape alone in his hot air balloon.
We're off. What's going on? Damn. It's stuck. Oh, too bad. Oh, I really don't feel like tackling the mechanics just now.
I had the impression that I was interrupting.
Sorry, Inspector, but right now I really don't have the time. I'm trying to run this shredder, but apparently it's broken. I wanted to clean up before leaving this tower. My tower. I don't want to see these plans anymore that are the proof of my failure. I can see that you want to fix it. Here's the key for opening the shredder. Good luck, Inspector.
This could be useful. These gloves correspond with the sales receipt I found in the trash can of Christina and Marco. And here is what is blocking the shredder. Someone took this card. Are the fingerprints I found on Simbi Lektar's cards his?
Correct match. Correct match.
Marco must have stolen this card from Lorenzo. Strange. It's not working anymore. Impossible to go lower. The stairs have collapsed. Floor is still under construction. With Jones's death, I doubt these will be finished one day. Someone took a good deal of time, it seems. Who had the time to use these condoms?
I don't know what to cook today. I'm just not inspired.
When I think of all the time I spent to make that damned raft, all for it just to float away. What a fool I was for not having brought it up to the heliport.
I'm sure you still have things to tell me. The items deposited in Walter Jones' safe clearly indicate that had he not been murdered, the marriage with Baina would have taken place, and you would all have been disinherited.
My grandfather was a damn pervert, you can take my word for it, Norm. And frankly, it disgusted me to find out about his marriage plan. A filthy old man and a 20-year-old kid? It's nasty, don't you think? Thank God our luck is turned now, and I hope it'll stay on our side.
Do you know to whom these gloves might belong?
No. I don't know whom they belong to.
Okay.
You don't seem to be doing very well, Christina.
No, I'm hot. I'm cold. I don't know anymore. I have a terrible headache.
My God, my darling. How you must be suffering.
Get lost, Martin. I'll take care of her.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm going.
Thanks, Marco.
Why is he always hovering around you, Christina?
But forget poor Martin. You're creating a scene, Marco. I'm really exhausted.
I'm exhausted too, Christina. Your lies are tiring me. I'm going to go get some air. You're getting to me.
Would you permit me to take a look at your bags?
It's very embarrassing.
If you prevent it, then I will be obliged to consider it as an obstruction of justice.
Then do what you want, Inspector. All right now. I am all yours, Jack.
What did Walter Jones tell you regarding his estate?
Marco doesn't tell me everything, you know. He still keeps some small secrets from me.
The items deposited in Walter Jones' safe clearly indicate that had he not been murdered, the marriage with Baina would have taken place and the heirs would all have been deprived of the estate.
Walter Jones was an evil man, Jack. Nevertheless, I thought that he still had a little affection for his grandchildren. I am too naive. Walter Jones was a real crook. And it seems to me that Collio and Baina almost came into a lot of wealth. Too bad for them.
This sordid letter from Isabella to her son Marco gives him a solid motive to kill Walter Jones.
It's the worst story I've ever heard, Jack. Marco never told me anything. Maybe he wanted to protect me. In any case, Jones got the punishment he deserved. But I know my Marco well. You mustn't charge him. You are mistaking your prey, Jack.
Do you know to whom these gloves might belong?
Oh, but of course, Jack. These are gloves that I bought in Moscow. A gift for Marco. What brought them to such a sorry state?
I have my idea about this, but I won't say anything for now. I thank you for this information, Christina. I found this in the suite of Martin and Sonia Abruzzi. Does this remind you of something?
My personal life is my business alone, Jack. Hence, I am not going to confide in you. You can understand that, can't you?
You don't seem to be very welcome in the Jones family, Christina. They all think that you're a gold digger.
I doubt it. For them, a girl from Eastern Europe is necessarily a slut. What do you want me to do, Jack?
I understand. I must take your fingerprints for the investigation.
I guess that in an investigation, it's an unquestionable classic.
Thanks.
Correct match.
Martin used these condoms. Walter Jones was murdered. So we stop joking and respond correctly to my questions. Everyone got that? Sorry, but I understand nothing about architecture. I would like to have some things in this sketchbook explained.
I am a man of letters, Inspector. I'm not very practical-minded, and have even less talent as a Mr. Fix-It. I think you'd do better to ask the architect who designed the plans for this building.
What did Walter Jones tell you regarding his estate?
I'm scarcely under any illusions, Inspector. I don't think that my wife will inherit from her grandfather. Mr. Jones was a greedy and ungrateful character. It's a sad truth. Sonia would well deserve to inherit from him after everything he has put us through.
The items deposited in Walter Jones' safe clearly indicate that had he not been murdered, the marriage with Baina would have taken place and the heirs would all have been deprived of the estate.
I think that Walter Jones' deception intended to disinherit his grandchildren is particularly vicious. To marry a young woman who could be his great-grandchild. Can you believe that? But I'm not really surprised that this man had such a scheme. Mr. Jones was not a commendable man, Inspector. And rather fortunately, if I dare say, destiny was able to thwart his Machiavellian plans.
Did you see anyone in the library the evening of the murder?
I never set foot in this library, Inspector. I therefore cannot help you at all.
With regard to Walter Jones, everyone plays the victim. But some people didn't refrain from trying to make him fall from his perch.
Listen, Inspector. It was publicly known that Walter Jones was no longer the same man after he had his accident. The procedure that we initiated to have him put under psychiatric care was perfectly logical. The old man was no longer of sound mind, and he wasn't even able to understand that he ought to pass on responsibility.
If the heirs had thought of inheriting, it seems they're off to a rather rocky start. What do you think?
Old man Jones manipulated us all. I truly regret not having taken the procedure of putting him under psychiatric care to its conclusion. It is now clear that he had lost his mind, and that he was getting ready to disinherit all his grandchildren.
What did you get in return for rescinding that Walter Jones be put under psychiatric care?
I suppose that Hubert de Nolent told you that I was behind this initiative of putting him under psychiatric care. And yes, I acknowledge that without any shame. The shares of the Jones Company had been dramatically down for a while, which was not surprising in any case. Walter Jones had become a paranoid and dangerous old man for the viability of his corporation. He had endangered it by his irrational decisions. I understood that he was going to lose all his wealth. He had to be stopped before he led himself to ruin and took his grandchildren with him. But the old man had it in for us. We should never have signed this document. It's a mistake that will cost us very dearly because my wife and her brothers will get nothing. I am convinced of that now.
Christina Bromsky is the only person to use this brand of Russian condoms, and they carry your prints. Let me save some time, Mr. Abruzzi, and tell me the truth at last.
I see I'm obliged to recognize it, Inspector. I did spend some of the night in my suite with Christina, but I am still free to spend the night with whoever I fancy, am I not? I would be very grateful to you if you could keep this to yourself. It doesn't concern your investigation, does it? And you understand that for my wife, well, it's very embarrassing.
This sordid letter from Isabella to her son Marco gives him a solid motive to kill Walter Jones.
I thought we had gone as low as we could, but these recent revelations, it's quite simply revolting, Inspector. What a shame that Sonia and Billy gave up on having this monster put away. That said, I doubt my brother-in-law Marco is capable of taking revenge by killing his own father.
I'm told that an accident left Baina mute. What is that about?
I don't know anything. My wife spoke to me about it. I know that Jones and Baina had a fall together that could have been fatal, but I don't know anything more.
If Noland is to be believed, the young Baina literally cast a spell on Walter Jones. What do you know about this?
How would I know that? The girl is very pretty. That must have been enough.
Surely.
You can't pass me up, can you, Jack? I will just love it if you continue like this.
Martin Abruzzi's fingerprints are on the condom wrapper. You are the only one here to use this somewhat exotic brand, so...
You are a good policeman, Jack. Well, yes. I had a little adventure with Martin on the evening of the murder. But I beg you not to tell anything to Marco. He is really jealous, you know? Martin invited me to his room because he was having back pain so that I could give him massage. I am very good at massage, you know? Then, I think things deteriorated a little, Inspector Norm. I confess.
Well, we're getting there. You see, when you want to,